Kahn-Yalom used the group leader as a role model. Okay, let me go past this. Okay, let me get to his qualities of group leader. You can just click it. All right. I didn't do that. All right. These are the qualities that he wants in a group leader. Okay, reliability. You'll kind of know what that is. You're there early. I get there early for my students, even though there's, they may come in. Spontaneity and responsiveness. Anybody want to know what that one means? What does it mean to be spontaneous and responsive?
To not be so rigid and to go along with whatever is going on in the group dynamic.
Right.
Flexible, fluid.
Right. A lot of times, every time I have somewhat of a semi-plan, what I want to talk about, some dynamic different in the class, and I got to toss it out, and we got to just talk. So you got to be up. It's like a boxer. You got to keep on your toes, because if you don't, you stay flat-footed, you're going to get knocked out.
And that comes with experience, because beginning teachers, they don't like to do that because they're not confident.
You need to do beginning boxers, but right. You're absolutely right. I used to box Golden Gloves when I was a teenager. You know what my nickname was? Canvasback. I wasn't very good. You have to establish trust. That's a hard one because a lot of these kids don't trust you. I work at the Prince George Community College is the largest minority institution in the state of Maryland. 95% of our students are minorities. 26% come from West Africa and the Middle East. And they bring not only the individual issues, but they bring their culture, they bring their experiences, and trust is low. And so you have to work hard to gain trust. And sometimes I walk out of there, I gotta go to my office and I take a nap, literally, because I'm just wiped out. Firm identity, what is that one? That's interesting. What does it mean to have a firm identity?
Know who you are.
Know who you are, and that, as a new teacher, that takes some time. I know I kind of know who I am in a way. It's about time after 65 years I should know who I am, right? Not completely. And I think that, give yourself a firm sense of identity. And of course, and Yalom was so good at this because he was this really large in life figure, but he is funny and he's humorous, and he always said, he says, Kahn, we're not brain surgeons, we're barbers. If we make a mistake, so they come back, let's cut them again. That we want to have humor. And of course, the last one is we want to be fallible. If I make a mistake in class, I own up to it. If I put something wrong on the blackboard or something, and they catch me, I go, And a lot of teachers, I think where they get stuck is they cling tight to being the teacher role, they stay in that role, and they don't want to loosen up, and they get into a power struggle, and, if I can just say it, the shit hits the fan, and next thing you know, they're in the president's office, and, so I try to be as real as I can. Oh, all right, and these are the actual definitions that's in his book. I'm not going to go over all of them. I mean, if you want, I could send you on my PowerPoint, or you can download from here. But these are all of them, and you can. I think the rest of them. Yeah, I think there's one more left of the qualities. Yeah, and they're all so those are all his qualities of group leader. And again, group leader and teacher are very similar. What we do in a classroom, particularly if we understand the transference, is almost identical. Because kids bring in, I'm used to hearing students come in and say to me, they come the first day, they don't come all semester, then they come in and say, well, can I get an A in your class? Now, a traditional teacher would say, no, you failed. I say, sit down and talk to you. I want you to write me an essay. I want you to explain to me, where were you all semester? What? Because remember, I'm an educator. I'm there to help them. Whether I'm not there to, maybe they'll get a degree, maybe not. But my job is clear based on my first rule of, my first principle, which is based on my faith. That I'm there to help. When I teach human service, I tell all my students, we're helpers. We're there to help others. We're not there to help ourselves. We're here to help others. So so now very few students must heard about it. Nobody seems to come in late or turn their homework in late because they don't want me to give them that assignment. It says, I want you to tell me all about why you didn't turn in your work for the last 3 months. All right. All right. Yes, my student did that. She was creative. All right, this is where the rubber meets the road. The question we now ask is, how do people change? Without change, we become extinct as a person and as a species. People change primarily in their interaction with others. Cure for Yalom is an enormously complex process that occurs through an intricate interplay of various guided human experiences that it refers to as the curative factors. And I'm going to show you the curative factors next. Again, I'm not going to go over all of them, but these are his factors. And the first one is altruism. I'll just mention the first one. Altruism is that we're there. What is altruism?
Giving of yourself.
Giving of yourself. And I realize as you get older, it's a lot easier because as you get older, we're in Erickson's stage of generativity, so it's a lot easier. I realize a lot of younger teachers may not have that, but that doesn't mean you start, thinking that these are. I think they're 10, depending on what book you read, 10 or 11. But another one I like is installation of hope. I can't tell you how many times I ask my students, "Are you optimistic or pessimistic?" And they tell me they're pessimistic. They have no hope. And so part of my job, part of a teacher's job, I think, is to instill hope in them, make them feel like, make life worth living. And one of my other requirements I make all my students read is Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. Because Viktor Frankl could find meaning in that place. We can find meaning everywhere. And so that's also mandatory reading. So, you did a nice job of that. All right, the part of the ever-growing problem in our schools is the dysfunctional nature of education. Okay, I got a little soapboxes, but I really feel that our educational system is in trouble. We bought into the marketing model, we bought into the business model where it's all about jobs and unfortunately, with I think of our new education secretary, God help us all, I think it's going to be a lot worse in the next 4 years. I think it's going to be worse. However, incorporating Yalom's work would be a step in creating more effective teachers and teaching in school. My time is up. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be a Yalom speaker.